Alright, today we start off with my Taiwan Beauty. And it looks like, let's see here, get the log off of her. And you can see she's a pretty big little girl. Very beautiful snake. It looks like she's about ready to go into a shed here. Colors are a little bit dull. She's very calm for an Asian rat snake. And I love her color and her patterns. We're just going to stick her over here before we feed her. And here we're going to be feeding our Taiwan Beauty snake. I tube feed the majority of my snakes because it's cheaper. A whole lot cheaper. I mean, I pay $3 and change for a pound of lean ground turkey, or I'll pay almost that for one mouse. And as you can see, with the size of this snake, he's very healthy, got a nice girth on him, grows very well, and has a great temperament. Sometimes I think also the tube feeding, the handling them, and stuff like that also helps to calm them down here. So all I basically do is I'll restrain them behind the head, which is probably the most stressful part of this, if you want to call it stressful. They all tend to be pretty docile when feeding. I just use the spatula here to open his mouth up, insert the tube, and then I will put the food in. And the only thing I wish is that this particular, like I said, this is a modified drill press. I wish that its stroke would be a complete stroke. I wouldn't have to put this block of wood in to finish it, but works really good. And we'll give this guy 60 cc's of food. Carefully pull it back out of his mouth, and then just push it down a little bit, rub on his belly, just a slight. As you can see, he doesn't fight me, he doesn't give me a hard time about it. And we'll put him back into his enclosure here. And here we're going to be dealing with my female water moccasin. She definitely is nasty. Oh, we're going to put on the gloves just in case. Now what I'm going to do now is I need to clean her enclosure and give her some fresh water and tube feed her. So we're going to hook her little hide here, which I made out of a casserole dish from the dollar store. Drilled a hole in the front. Works really great as hides. They're plastic. Here she is. Now normally cottonmouths, water moccasins, they will stick pretty good. And you can see again, this snake has been tube fed ever since I've had her, and I've had her for years. You can see how fat she is, and she didn't even get a lot of food. She gets a minimal amount, but she stays right on the stick as I pick her up and move her over. Okay, now we're going to show you how I tube her to get her ready to get fed. You can see she's all ready to strike. She's all lessed up. And if you could smell this, you could smell her musk. Copper heads and water moccasins have a distinctive musk. See that tail rattling? That's telling me she is mad. And let's see, we're going to try to slide the tube. Look at her. There she goes, striking at the tube. Okay, that was a typical cottonmouth display there when she opens her mouth up. Shows the white lining on the inside of her mouth. That's where they get their name cottonmouths from. Oh, she's pretty quick there. We're going to get her in here. Okay, now if we... Oh, you can see, look at her. She's pretty aggressive. She's not messing around, boys. She wants to get me. And that's why I'm going to leave this glove on until she's completely inside of this tube here. Just like that. She's a fighter. She is a fighter. Okay, and we're gonna get her into that tube. There we go. Get the gloves off. It's easier to hold on to the snake in the tube with the gloves off, especially with her like she is. She's definitely a fighter. We'll get her up a little farther in this tube. Alright, we got her. Alright, and here we are with our cotton mouth. See that tail going? She definitely is agitated pretty easily. Now you can see how fat she is. And she only gets 30 cc's of food every 2 weeks. And again, what I do is just simply rub it on the side of their mouth. She definitely is a fighter. She is super aggressive. Let me get it open her mouth up here. There we go. And again, I can turn them upside down, and as I push this in, I can actually see the bulge of the probe moving in there. So we'll push that pretty far down into her. Alright. Then I'm going to let her back out of here, just nice and slowly. Alright, pushing this down at the same time. Right to there, so I know I got it, and I will push that 30 cc's into her. Okay, there we go. Squeeze her a little bit as I take the tube back out. This way, hopefully, none of the food will come out with her. There we go. And then we just move her right over into her enclosure. Alright, the next snake I got here is my jungle corn. A jungle corn is actually a snake that's a king snake and a corn snake cross. It's a hybrid. This one is blind. It's not blind because it's a hybrid, but it is blind. Pretty cool looking snake though. Colorations are nice. Very different, pretty docile, but even though it's blind, it still has the ability to, if I offer it frozen thawed mice, it'll find the mice no problem. It's a handleable snake. I've had it now for a couple years. It came in as an adoption, and I really like it. I think it's really cool how animals can adapt so easily to different handicaps. Like this one being blind, it doesn't seem to affect it at all. Uses its other senses, a sense of smell, in order to detect what it is. Every once in a while it's just a tad bit jumpy when you first touch it, because it doesn't obviously see you coming. But other than that, great snake. Okay, and here's the jungle corn. I'm going to get him all fed up here. Like I said, sometimes he's just a little bit jumpy because he is blind. But he's pretty good. Keep him in the box here though. I think I need a rim around the box, because sometimes these guys will get their tail out, and once they get their tail out and hooked on something, they'll use that ability to pull themselves loose. This guy, he gets the full 60 cc's. Alright, and again I just rub my finger on their belly, push it down a little bit farther, and take it out of here, and this guy's good to go. This is one of the snakes that came in as an adoption, but I decided I'm going to keep this one. I'm kind of really fond of Mexican king snakes. These guys are jet black. Get him out of here. They are jet black. They have two little white dots under their chin. Every single one of them. Really awesome snakes. I love that charcoal black coloration. And this is one of the guys that I actually adopted him out, and then they adopted 4 snakes for 2 little girls, and the girls, as they got older, got more interested in boys than these kind of snakes, and they came back as rescues. So now 3 of them I adopted out. This guy here though I'm going to keep for myself. He's totally awesome as far as the coloration goes. The bins here, the tubs, I just want to say a few words about them. I love them as far as the ease of cleaning, the ease of keeping humidity in them. Also though, you got to watch very carefully though with humidity that you don't keep too much humidity. And if you were to take and fill this water bowl all the way up and they were to spill it, I would have humidity water all over the top of the container here. In order to keep humidity inside the tub, it's very simple. What you do is your air holes you would put on the sides, and that would keep the humidity high inside this tub. So if you would have like a snake, a tropical snake, or a snake that needed more humidity, like from maybe Africa or South America or something, then you would put the air holes on the sides. If you have a snake that you don't want the humidity up as high, you will drill the air holes up onto the lids. The other nice feature about it is if you drill too many air holes, you can always take tape, put it on the packing tape, put a piece over the hole on the inside, a piece over the hole on the outside, and you can fix the fact that you have too many air holes in there. Like I said, these are great for holding humidity. Here's my Mexican black king snake, and again getting right up by the head, slowly insert this into their mouth. Some snakes can be very stubborn about opening up their mouth. Other snakes will do it very easily. You just got to be very careful so you don't hurt them. And again, once you get his mouth open there, just push it in. If they kink their body up like this, don't hurt them. Just take your time, they'll relax in a minute. Always watch those tails, guys. They get those tails hooked on something, they'll try to pull right out of your hand. Now this guy gets 30 cc's. We just push that right into him there, no problem. Again, rub the belly. Get that food in there a little ways, and it slides right out of his mouth, and voila. As you can see, he's not like trying to attack me. He's not mad at me or anything like that. Tube feeding is awesome, I'll tell you guys. It's very underrated, and the snakes tend to thrive on it. If I want them to grow faster, I can just feed them twice as often and they'll do just as well. If I want them to stay a smaller size or a maintenance weight, then I feed them once a week and they will grow at a slow, steady pace and be very, very healthy. This next snake I got is a Brooks King snake. It's a hypo, which means it's very light. I call this guy my spinner sometimes because he's a great, great eater. Whenever I have anything left over, some frozen thawed food or whatever that I want to get rid of, I'll give it to him, and he will re-kill it every single time. What's cool though is when he grabs it, he'll grab a dead mice so hard and he'll coil it up that he'll literally go spinning across his tub like a top. This guy I've had, again, for quite a while. He's a combination of tube feed and garbage can, which means he gets mice every once in a while. When something else won't eat their mouse, give it to him. And you can see he's very, very, very active, always trying to get away. Very cool snake. And here we got the Brooks Hypo King Snake. I said this guy is such an awesome eater. He's remarkable. And we'll see here. Get his mouth open. And some of the snakes, this is probably the hardest part about tube feeding them, is to get them to open their mouth. Some will do it very readily. Others will be very stubborn about it. Right now he's being a little bit on the stubborn side. There he goes. Let me get that tube in there. Get his body back up here. They're always trying to get that tail wrapped. And this guy, he gets the whole 60 cc's, makes it very easy. Let's see his tail over here, trying to get that tail away. Always got to watch him while you're doing this stuff, okay? You got to have eyes on the side of your head, the back of your head. Always got to know what's going on, otherwise you're going to end up trying to unravel him from someplace you don't want to do that from. Alright? And if they get really bad, there's a few that are real bad about it, and I'll show you what we do with those guys. But this guy's not that bad. He's just likes to move around a lot. We got 3 left here to take care of. This is a Sonoran gopher snake. It's a little guy. Awesome patterns on him though. Very docile. Wish he was a little more aggressive and a little more hissy, but a very cool snake none the least. Here's our Sonoran gopher snake ready for his chance to be tube fed. That's kind of cool. We like to show you that snakes of all sizes, doesn't matter if they're babies, doesn't matter if they're adults. I've tube fed Burmese pythons that were 16 feet long. I've tube fed small little babies, small little corn snakes, so they all can be done with. The only thing that really hasn't done very well with being tube fed is tree snakes, such as Amazon tree boas, green tree python, emerald tree boas. For some reason they don't take to being tube fed very well. They don't respond to the mixture. So those type of snakes, as far as I'm concerned, with what I have to do is I have to feed them, mice or rats or something, because they will not respond very well. I also do feed a lot of my venomous snakes frozen thawed, as long as they'll eat them. Again, I can have a snake like my canebrake. He likes to eat. He'll eat frozen thawed, then he'll go on a fast for a while. And when he goes on that fast for a while, then I start tube feeding him again, because he will start to lose a little bit of weight. So I mean, I do have some snakes that I feed mice and rats, and the majority of the snakes, I will tube feed. And this is my southern water snake, and he is a nasty little bugger. And the way I deal with him is with my pinning stick. I know you can't see in here, but what I'm going to do, well, I'm not going to pin him right here because I got to clean his enclosure first. So what I'll do with him right from this point is I'll tail him. I'll lift his tail up, hook the front part of his body here, and we'll move him over into the holding container here. And I'm going to clean out his little enclosure here. I'm going to let you guys watch. Take care of this real fast. Alcohol into the water dish, alcohol spray into his enclosure. Again, the reason I use alcohol is it dries 100%. You can use it like any other cleaning type of liquid, but when it dries 100%. It leaves no residue behind whatsoever. And if you let it air dry, it also will disinfect the enclosure as well. And we'll put some newspaper in there for him. Like I said, this guy here, he's a typical water snake. Very quick, very nasty. Not all water snakes are that way. I mean, I have babies that I've raised up and they're not nasty. But in general, a water snake is going to be aggressive. And the other part of him being aggressive is that if they do bite you, they do have that anticoagulant in their saliva, which makes you bleed a whole lot more than you normally would. And what I'm going to show you here now is with the pinning stick. And I've showed you this before, but pinning stick is surgical rubber, very pliable, very flexible here, so it won't hurt him. And what I'll do is, because he is super fast and his eyes are located more toward the top of his head, so he actually will see you coming a lot of times. I'll pin his head down with the stick, grab a hold of him just like that. Feeding him, there's one little trick I do, and I'll do it to some snakes if they're very, very thrashing around. Two reasons I do it to him: I'll grab their tail and I'll put their tail up here like this. This way he can't thrash around. But the reason I really do it to him isn't his thrashing, is that he likes to go to the bathroom, and he likes to throw it all over the place when he's mad at you and he can't bite you. So by doing this, I am keeping his poop basically right here, and he's not able to throw it all over the place. Water snakes do excellent on this mixture. They grow nice and big and fat. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the already went poop right here, but he gets 20 cc's every week. I feed him weekly. He's pooping all over the place here. And I don't want that poop on me, so yeah, he got his cloaca open right there. Okay. He's just, there he goes. Look at that. He's just so nasty. If he can't bite you, he's going to poop on you. Poops on himself. But I love him. The last one we got today is my red-sided garter snake. Probably one of my prettiest snakes, I think. Very awesome. He's got the red markings on the side here. He's got the beige yellowish striping going up and down. Awesome, awesome snake. You can see he's a little pudgy guy, and he loves to be tube fed. He's been growing great on the formula. And one thing I want to say about the formula is that all the snakes that I fed today, I spent approximately $2 to feed all the snakes. And you can add it up for yourself and see how much it would have cost if I would have fed them all mice and rats and everything else. So tube feeding is extremely economical way to go. Again, I've been doing this for about 20 to 25 years, perfecting the tube feeding, and it works terrifically. So a lot of you guys, if you don't want to be running up to the pet stores all the time and spending a lot of money on mice and rats that they're overcharging you for, you can try the tube feeding method. Save yourself some money. And if you're opposed to having a snake because you can't bear to give them rodents, then this is a method for you that will work terrifically. A long time ago, I had a lady who wanted to get her son a ball python, but couldn't feed it rodents, and I showed her how to tube feed, and she was so happy, and she tube fed that snake, and it was nice and healthy, and she was happy because she didn't have to deal with mice and rats. So there's always alternatives. And our red-sided garter. He's our last one we're going to be feeding today. And this little chunky monkey gets 10 cc's. And again, just you got to be very careful. You don't want to hurt them when you open their mouth. But as you see today, the majority of all these snakes, they're used to being tube fed. They don't fight me. Very quick, very easy. I don't have to stand there and watch if they ate their mouse. I don't have to worry about tomorrow if there's going to be an odor in the room because I got a dead rotting mouse laying in their enclosure. And he's good to go.